Christmas break in the NHL ends today, and your favorite hockey team is going to be back on the ice, and they're going to be practicing playing the right way. I'm going to talk about what that means in this slightly unusual episode. Good morning to you. Good Friday morning. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Penguins. It comes your way bright and early every weekday. If you're into football and or baseball, I also happen to offer daily shots of Steelers and Pirates that I hope you'll take the time to check out. Practice is at 11 a.m. in Cranberry, and the next games are the next 2 days. A weekend home and home set with the Islanders Saturday in Elmont, New York, and Sunday back here at PPG Paints Arena. I guess you could call these significant if you're one of those people who presume that the Islanders, once they get more of their injured guys back, are going to make their usual run and stay on the periphery the way they always seem to. So it's like you could file this under the same category that you did the game the other night against the Flyers. There's a certain group of teams that can be expected to be right in that same category, and every point counts, including the points that you don't allow the other guys to have. And I would say that there's a certain good way to beat the Islanders, except the Penguins aren't exactly experts on that sort of thing and haven't been for about 50 plus years. But there is a right way, in Mike Sullivan's eyes, to play the game. That doesn't mean he's correct. That doesn't mean he's infallible. It certainly doesn't mean that his system is infallible. But now that the Penguins are on their first real roll of the season, and now that they're scoring goals while at the same time allowing less offense to the opponent, I don't want to emphasize too much how many goals they've given up versus how many odd man breaks they're allowing, how many clean breakaways they're allowing, how many really atrocious giveaways they have in their own zone. They've cut back on all of that, and that means more than just the goals number. And after each one of those wins, Sullivan will say, and if you pay attention to him, there are a lot of different phrases that he repeats. Things like, we went out there with the right intentions. We went out there with the right mindset. And above all, that we went out there and we played the game the right way. He'll also use one specific term that should allow you to explain to somebody who might not know hockey as well what exactly Sullivan means by saying that they stayed above the puck, that the Penguins stayed above the puck. Now, this is a fairly new phraseology in hockey. This was not something that existed even 10 years ago. It did in principle. It just didn't when it came to being spoken like that. And it's done so that the player who's out there reacting in the world's fastest team sport without overthinking stuff and without putting too big of a leash on themselves, while also operating with at least one great big set of alarm bells that goes off if you do something that is not the right way to play the game. So plain and simple, there's the puck, there's you, and somewhere behind you, ideally, is your net or your goaltender. Wherever it is that you are on the rink, this is supposed to resonate with you. This is supposed to be in your head. If you're in the offensive zone and you see Matt Grzelcyk pinching down the right boards, for example, I know, just hear me out here. I'm purposely starting with your worst case scenario. And you're a forward. You are not supposed to be investing any amount of brain cells in whether or not you should get back. It should come to you as reflexively as your next breath. You are, in this instance, F3, as it's called. That's the third forward. That's the high forward. That's whoever's in the best possible position to make sure that Grzelcyk's pinch doesn't result in an odd man break. You might not be better qualified as a forward to cover for a defenseman, but at least you'll have numbers back. And numbers back, by the way, is another one of Sullivan's phrases. For the better part of 2 months into this season, the Penguins weren't doing this at all. They also, of course, weren't being especially judicious about when they should and shouldn't pinch. It's the latter that's been modified systematically of late. Sullivan's actually acknowledged this. He usually doesn't whenever he tinkers with something. And he's made it clear to his defensemen, hey, not always, okay? Look around. Make sure you got somebody. Meaning you've got somebody to be your F3. And as such, somebody is always staying above the puck. The same thing, only it's a little bit more complicated, applies in the neutral zone, meaning between the blue lines if you're new to the game. And it really, really applies in your defensive zone, where the Penguins are not good. They're still not good there. But what Sullivan has done in response to all that Grizzly hockey that was going on for a while there is that he simplified things defensively to the extreme that you will see Penguins basically just standing. I'm talking about like frozen, like statues, between an opponent who's on the outer edge of their attacking zone or the Pittsburgh zone and waiting for that individual to do something. You won't see pressure. You won't see the Penguins put themselves into many positions where they'll allow that opponent to just, dance right around them. If you're going to go around one of the Penguins in this scenario, you're going to have to go the long way because they're not coming to you, or they'll let you take a shot from whatever it is, 55 feet and a rotten angle, and hope that someone other than Tristan Jarry's in net to stop it. Similarly, in addressing the Penguins' massive shortcomings in the net front area, they're doing the same thing. They're telling their defensemen, keep everything, including the opponent, in front of you. Go ahead. Move them, push them, hack them, whack them, do whatever it is that you got to do, but keep the opponent and the puck in front of you. So everywhere that you are, all over the rink, unless you're a Sidney Crosby or Evgeny Malkin and you've earned some real license, that thought is supposed to stay with you, that intention, that mindset. When we come back, J1Q. This episode is brought to you by Bet Online, your number one source for all your summer sports needs this season, from Major League Baseball, golf, NHL, NBA playoffs. Get the latest odds and lines, including all team matchups, player props, odds on just about everything that's out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts.
Abandon ship, Bob. Sell the team. Are you a Pirates fan who is angry or apathetic about our perennial losing baseball team? Do you feel helpless because you don't know how to make a difference? Well, good news. We have something you can do about it. Join our Sell the Team movement. We're a group of passionate fans voicing our frustration and demanding change through billboard campaigns, press outreach, protests, and involvement at local city government meetings. Go to ourteamnothis.com to get involved.
Today's J1Q comes from David, who says, DK, I'm glad you mentioned Mike Sullivan's little comment the other night after the Flyers game about the outside noise, quote, mostly from you guys, end quote, that was aimed at the reporters in the room after the game. The truth is, and Sullivan should know this, is that it wasn't just the press, it was the entire fan base, including fans in the arena at games. He should have included, quote, and it was deserved given the way we started this season, end quote. As you said, DK, maybe he's using an us against the world mantra to try to motivate the team, but still I think that the local press has been very respectful toward him and didn't deserve that jab. Yeah, I gotta be honest with you. I'm sitting there in the front row and it's he's right there, and we talk all the time, okay? Whether it's, in a formal setting like that or elsewhere, and we communicate about things that are wrong with the team, things that are, going well with the team, certain players, facets. So I'm probably one of many individuals who were in that room going, yeesh, what was that? I mean, I know he's not talking about me, but what's he actually talking about? when in fact he might be talking about me. I have no idea. But it's not the first time he's done it, and I doubt very seriously that it'll be the last time. If he's using it as a team thing, if he's using the work that I do or others in my industry do to motivate players by, reading criticism out loud or pinning something to the bulletin board or whatever, that's his prerogative as a head coach. He's got one mission. He's got to get this team to the playoffs. He's got to win games, and he's got to win them now just as much as he has to win them in March. We're way past the idea or the concept that the Penguins can just kind of mess around for a few months and then get serious as the playoffs approach. I think, for example, they have to take 3 out of 4 this weekend from the Islanders. So if Sullivan needs to walk into his room and, let's say, for example, read out loud the cheap shot I took at Tristan Jarry in the opening segment, and it makes Jarry angry for whatever reason, as if what I think matters, and then Jarry goes and just stones the Islanders, just wrecks them, 45 save shutout. Do you think Sullivan cares if he'd be hurting my feelings? I don't care one way or the other, but I can promise you that Sullivan definitely wouldn't care. But I do see your point, because unless I'm misunderstanding you, that you're saying that it wasn't just the people who cover the team who were being critical of the Penguins, and that maybe by throwing that out there that he's shielding himself from the fact that the general public felt the same way, or actually even a lot more strongly, because I am pretty confident in saying that the fan base overall is more upset with Sullivan than, let's say, for example, me. The next time I call for Sullivan to get fired will be the first, whereas fans do it after every bad period anymore. So no, I don't believe that he's unaware of the fans' displeasure, and I don't believe that he believed when he said that the feel from the outside begins with the work that reporters do. I don't actually believe that about much of anything anymore. Fans have a million different ways to express themselves. They sure don't need me in any part of that equation. I appreciate the question. I appreciate everybody listening to Daily Shot of Penguins. We'll be back with another one of these on Monday.